Hey everybody, welcome back. You know, we all have a lot of technology, but do we really need it? Normally I would say a resounding yes. Absolutely, I need all the technology I can get. But today I want to look a little bit deeper than that. I want to take it a little bit further and ask some of those awkward questions. So let's go. So if you've been watching some of my recent videos, you guys will know I've been getting into downshifting my life. And one of the things I mentioned in those videos that I was going to have a look at a bit more was downshifting my technology. We all have a lot of technology these days. I mean, let's face it, it's part of everyday life. But do we really need it all? And do we really use it all? And then of course there's the big question, the one that I've mentioned previously, and that is, do we need it? So getting into this downshifting stuff has really made me start to think about how our technology fits into our life now that we've started doing all this reduction and cutting back and not spending so much, reducing our possessions, and all these other things. So the first step to figuring that out is to basically ask the question, what do we need in our lives technology-wise? The other part of that is, what sort of things do we do? So the first one there is communication and information. So, we all need to be able to communicate. We need a phone, we need internet connection to be able to check the news, check the weather, communicate with friends, family and loved ones around the world, Skype, emails, all these digital things that we use these days to basically keep in touch with everybody. Another big part of that is photos and video. So these days pretty much everybody that lives in the modern world has a camera of some sort, whether it be on their smartphone or whether it be a digital camera of some kind, or action cameras. There's lots of different things. And so we're all shooting videos, we're all taking pictures, thousands of pictures. And it's like, well, you take all those pictures and videos and now what do you do with them? You've got to find somewhere to store them. Then you sort of think, well, can I put it into any albums, or do I want to print any off? Do I want to make maybe a canvas print? There's so many options these days for what you can do with those photos. The third one would be social media, and I guess that kind of goes in hand with number one, communication, but not all social media is for keeping in contact with people. So a big portion of social media is just sharing life experiences, sharing pictures, Pinterest and stuff like that. So it's about sharing what's going on in your world as well. The fourth area is entertainment. So more and more all the time we are going down the path of having purely digital entertainment. I grew up in the days when audio tapes, old cassette tapes were all the rage, and then CDs came along. You don't see cassette tapes anymore. We're probably fast approaching the day when that might happen to CDs as well. A lot of people buying their music, including me now, online through iTunes. Online music services such as Spotify and so forth. So the same thing goes with movies. You've got Netflix, you've got Stan, you've got iTunes. There's you can rent movies through iTunes, you can buy movies through iTunes. There are so many options now for entertainment, all supplied via the internet. There's gaming, there's all sorts of things. I mean, entertainment is vast. There are so many things and so many more things still coming. And last but not least, let's not forget shopping. So, I don't just mean the likes of Amazon. There are loads of, I mean, most retail places these days, whether they're big department stores or small family run businesses, have some sort of web presence. And if they don't, they're missing out on a big audience. So, shopping has become a huge part of the digital world, the online world. The next part to solving this idea of, how do you downshift your technology is to ask yourself, well, when do we need to be able to use it? And this one's pretty simple. Most people, everyone wants to be able to access everything, all their services, all their online world and everything at home. And these days, pretty much everyone wants to be able to do that on the go as well. What we access mobile and on the go is not necessarily always exactly the same as at home, because obviously the cost of digital data is a lot more. But essentially, the ability to have access to everything, no matter where you are, is what everyone wants. More and more, it's also becoming about, when you're on the go, about being able to access all these things, no matter not only where you are, but what you're doing. So if you're on a holiday, whether it be in your own country or overseas, you still want to be able to access all those things to, be able to take photos and have them upload to your albums, that you have back home via Google Photos, for example. So there's all these things to take into account. So the last part of this little exercise, I suppose you could say, is to have a look at what I'm actually doing to downshift my technology. So let's have a bit of a run through it. Now, this is by no means an extensive list of every single little thing, but it sort of covers the main broad areas of what I'm looking at doing or have already started doing. So the first one is to reduce the quantity of hardware and devices that we have. There are a couple of devices that I know, for example, in the house here that we don't use anymore. Another good one is what do you do with old devices that do still work that maybe could be repurposed possibly, and repurposing is a good thing I like to look at as one of the first options when I'm looking at getting rid of something. So a good example of that is we've also got a MacBook Pro laptop that doesn't get used much anymore. So I'm sort of contemplating, well, is there anything I can repurpose that for, because it's be 8 years old this year, so to sell it I'm not going to really get a lot for it, so maybe I can find something else to do with it. Another good one is to reduce the services that we subscribe to or use, and I've mentioned in previous videos I've done that I recently dumped my Microsoft Office subscription. So a perfect example, $120 a year to get access to all the Microsoft apps for the Mac, and to have access to the ones for the iPad and our phones as well as the 1 terabyte of storage space. We didn't use it all, the storage space, we used hardly any of it, and we didn't use all the apps that often either, so it's gone. I cancelled it, and I've switched this over instead to just using Google Docs, and we can still do all the same stuff and store the same amount of stuff that we had in the 15 free gigabytes that Google offers. Our technology is quite messy and unorganized at times, so I've got a few little projects I want to do to try and change that. So things such as reorganizing and sorting out all our bookmarks. We've got hundreds and hundreds of bookmarks in Safari, and quite a lot of them we probably don't really need or use anymore. So I'm going to go through all those, sort them out, and whittle it down to just the main ones that we would use regularly. I've got a lot of work to do in Finder on our computers, for example, to better organize and sort out our files and things. Once again, there's a lot of stuff that can probably be dumped, but there's also a lot of stuff that just needs to be shifted around and better sorted into more logical places to make it easier to find. Backups is another big one. So at the moment we use CrashPlan for our main computer, but CrashPlan, the home version, is coming to an end very soon. So I've been doing a lot of research about what I'm going to replace that with. Haven't made a final decision yet, but it looks like I'm probably going to go with a bit of software and a cloud storage service to basically back up what's on our iMac. So there's lots of things you can do like that to once again reduce costs. I'm hoping to bring the cost of doing that down a little bit by choosing the services that I do hopefully end up using. And I'm gonna also make a video, but a little further down the track, to go into a bit more depth on that one. Our technology, all of it, consumes large amounts of power. Well, not so much large amounts, but it does all consume power, and on a pretty much an ongoing basis. So I've got a little project coming up that I'm going to do to try and cut our consumption when it comes to all our technology and our devices and things. So once again, there's another video coming on that in the not too distant future. Over the years, I've also signed up for a lot of different accounts on social media networks, various services. I've got a number of Google accounts, for example. So another little project that's on my list of things to do is to start reducing some of those things that we don't use, and just consolidate everything down to just the essential stuff. So there you have it. That's a little bit of a run through on some of the things I'm looking at trying to, or have already started doing, to try and reduce our technology, reduce our consumption. All of this runs back into a bit of the downshifting side of things, but very technology related. So technology is a big part of our lives, but it also shouldn't be a burden on our lives. So it's really important to me to go through these activities to basically make life easier for us, simpler, cheaper, and by reducing the amount of things we have and once again how much power they consume, it's also once again better for the planet. So downshifting, it's all intertwined, as I've said before. So thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, then hit that subscribe button below, give it a big thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts and ideas on what we've been talking about here, or to even share your own experiences with these sorts of things. Don't forget to also share it with any family and friends. I hope to see you back here next time for another video. Until then, take it easy and go live a little. See ya.